All right, so thanks for tuning in, guys. Today I'm going to talk about something that could possibly lose me a few followers on here, but I really don't care. If you don't agree with what I have to say, then you don't need to follow me. I'm just trying to bring my opinion across in a good way, and for anyone that agrees with me, great. Um, so starting Fur Bearer Freak, I've had the opportunity to follow some really cool pages, some really cool people, and it's really opened my eyes to predator hunting a little bit. I think predators are awesome. I think we need them on the landscape. I also think that they need to be managed just like any other wildlife out there. Um, Predators are a touchy subject, especially when it comes to wolves and that sort of thing. But like I said, I feel like they need to be managed, and the only people out there doing that are predator hunters and trappers. I've seen the trapping side of it. I haven't so much seen the predator hunting side of it. Through Instagram and YouTube, just following some different pages and people, I've really seen a lot when it comes to predator hunting, and I've seen it put out on the internet in a lot of different ways. I think it's really, really cool. Some of these guys that are just dedicated to their craft and going out and harvesting these predators, seeing them come into a call, just the way they react. They're a lot like humans in the fact that, obviously their eyes are in the front versus on the sides like you would deer, and that's just kind of the whole predator prey thing at play there. But just the way they react to a situation, you can just tell that predators are so smart, regardless of if it's a bobcat or a wolf or a coyote. They're handling situations a little bit differently when they're on the hunt, kind of like we are, versus just a deer that's out grazing. Um, some of the things that I wanted to bring up about predator hunting. One, I would really like to get into it. I don't really know the first thing about it. I've tried a few times, coyote hunting, but with very little success. Closest I've been to harvesting predators have been catching one coyote in trap when I was a teenager. So I'd really like to get out there and just get in some really cool landscapes and try to call in these predators and kind of beat them at their own game. I think it's important that we do have a hunting season for these predators, especially in locations where it's needed. One of the things that I've found that I don't like so much about predator hunting is on a lot of these pages I'll see comments that say, okay, we're predator hunters, we're protecting America's wildlife, or we're saving our deer. And that just kind of drives me nuts a little bit, because are coyotes not included in America's wildlife? I don't think that we should be treating predator hunting as some great thing we're doing to protect the deer. Are white-tailed deer really that important? I mean, yeah, I'm not going to say that we can't manage white-tailed deer and we shouldn't conserve them, we shouldn't worry about them, but white-tailed deer are doing great. There's some locations where they maybe aren't doing so good, but shooting a few coyotes off a certain area is not going to change your white-tailed deer population. There's tons of studies out there. You could read one way or another that whitetails are affected this much by coyotes, or they're not affected this much by coyotes. And you can basically just pick a side and have evidence to support that. But I really don't believe that coyotes are out there trying to hunt down adult white-tailed deer. That's just kind of out of the question for me. Fawns, on the other hand, I do think that they have an effect on fawns, but white-tailed deer they're dropping all their fawns at the same time, and that's Mother Nature at its best there, because there's only so many fawns that the coyotes can get to, and that's just how deer have evolved throughout time to drop all their fawns at once so that some of them make it. I believe that's called predator flooding or something like that. So let's not get all riled up into thinking that we're doing this great thing for America's wildlife by hunting predators, because they're wildlife too. They're not some beast out there that's trying to kill everything that we want to kill. All right, we gotta be out there. We need to be protecting lands and habitat for these animals as well. We gotta treat these animals with respect, just like we would a white-tailed deer. You know, I don't feel like I don't feel like some people are always that respectful when it comes to predator hunting, especially with coyotes. People hate coyotes. You know, these people that tend to not like coyotes tend to also not shoot does. I've talked to a lot of people that manage property around here, and you know, they're big whitetail guys, and they want to kill every coyote that steps foot on their property because they're eating all the fawns, and they're really putting a damper on the whitetail population there. The same guys complain to me about how many does there are, and there's so many does that the bucks don't. The bucks aren't there either, because they can't support bucks. Well, the same guy's not shooting does. He's complaining about the deer population, but he wants to kill all the coyotes that are taking care of those two things for him. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. To get back on track a little bit, if you are a predator hunter, I think that's awesome. I think that's great. I'd like to get into it as well. I feel like as long as you're treating these animals with respect, you know, you're taking a life. That's nothing to take lightly. If you are able to harvest a predator, take a good picture with it. You know, showcase some of those unique features of those animals. You know, some of the furs and even just the claws and the teeth. That stuff is just so cool. I'd rather have a really awesome picture with a guy and a coyote in a sunset or a beautiful landscape, and really showcasing to the best of their abilities their appreciation towards that animal, versus, and this is something I've seen, somebody putting tie a coyote to their head to some railroad tracks. Now, I don't know if the coyote was alive or dead when that happened, but it is something that I saw on social media, and that was just disgusting. So, you know, treat these animals with respect, guys. That's about all I have to say about this anymore. That goes for any type of hunting, any type of trapping, and fishing too. Just treat this wildlife with respect. Do all you can to protect them, and enjoy your predator hunting. Stay freaky.